We weren't fighting the enemy that night. We were fighting each other. Allies, Americans, New Zealanders, men who were supposed to die on the same side of the war. And I remember thinking, this is how it ends. Not in Europe, not in the Pacific, but here, on a quiet street, half a world away from the front. And somewhere in that crowd, I lost her.
April 3rd, 1943. Wellington, New Zealand. A city far from the war, about to tear itself apart. How does something like this even happen? During the Second World War, tens of thousands of American servicemen were stationed in New Zealand. They came as allies, guests, protectors, but they brought something else with them too: money, confidence, and a different way of living. And the city noticed. Welcome to Echoes of Valor X. Today, we uncover the story of a soldier who wasn't fighting the enemy, but something far more complicated: resentment, love, and the quiet tension before everything broke. For many American soldiers, New Zealand didn't feel like war. It felt like an escape. No artillery, no bombings, no jungle rot, just wind, music, and streets full of people trying to forget the world was burning.
When we landed, I thought they'd made a mistake. This didn't look like war. No smoke, no ruins, just clean streets, and people who smiled at you like you were already safe.
But safety can be deceptive.
I met her outside the club. Didn't even catch her name the first time. She laughed at my accent, said I sounded like a radio show. I told her she made things feel normal. For a minute there, I forgot there was a war going on.
Places like the Allied Services Club became the center of everything: music, drinks, dancing, a temporary world built to forget reality.
We danced like nothing else existed, like the war had paused just for us. For a few hours, I wasn't a soldier anymore. I was just a man, holding someone who didn't want to let go.
But not everyone was watching this story unfold with the same warmth. To many New Zealand soldiers, the Americans were not just allies, they were competition.
You could feel it before anyone said anything. The way they looked at us, not angry, worse, cold, like we didn't belong.
But the tension wasn't just about money or attention. It went deeper than that. New Zealand wasn't America. Here, Maori soldiers stood alongside white New Zealanders. They fought together, drank together, lived side by side. But for some American troops, especially those from the segregated South, that wasn't normal. The government even issued quiet warnings. Be polite, be careful, avoid situations that could turn uncomfortable, because what looked like a peaceful alliance was quietly carrying two very different worlds inside it.
I didn't understand it at first. Back home, things were different. You didn't question it. You just followed what everyone else believed. But here, no one seemed to care. Men sat at the same tables, shared drinks, laughed like it was normal. And I remember thinking, maybe the war wasn't the only thing we brought with us. She said it quietly. They don't like you here. Not angry, not accusing, just certain.
American soldiers had more money, different manners, a certain confidence. And the women noticed. And the men noticed that.
One night, a guy bumped into me at the bar, hard. Didn't apologize, just stared. I stared back. That's all it took.
In wartime, it doesn't take much.
We stepped outside for air. It was quieter there, just the wind and distant music leaking through the walls. She leaned against the railing. Didn't look at me at first. You should be careful, she said. I laughed. Careful of what? She finally looked at me then, not smiling this time. It's them, she said. I shrugged it off, told her I'd been through worse, that a few looks didn't scare me. She shook her head.
Sometimes, the people who live through something can feel it before it happens.
They think you're taking something from them, she said. Like what? She didn't answer right away, just looked back toward the door. Everything, she said quietly. I wanted to argue, tell her it wasn't like that we were on the same side. But even then, I wasn't sure I believed it. So instead, I took her hand. Then stay with me tonight, I said. She hesitated, just for a second. Then she nodded. Okay, she said. And for a moment, everything felt simple again.
Moments like that don't last long in wartime. April 3rd, 1943. Just after 6 p.m., the bars closed, and the streets filled with men who had nowhere else to go, and too much to prove.
Something felt wrong that night. Too loud, too tense, like everyone was waiting for something to happen.
And then it did. Accounts differ, stories changed, but what is certain is that a single moment became something much bigger.
I heard shouting near the entrance. Someone yelling, "Don't let them in." Then another voice, "They have every right." And then everything moved at once.
Fists turned into weapons. Belts turned into whips. Crowds gathered, watching, cheering, joining.
I grabbed her hand, told her to stay close. But the crowd doesn't care about promises.
The fight spread, from Manor Street to nearby clubs to the surrounding streets. Police tried to break it up, but by then, it wasn't a fight anymore. It was chaos.
Someone hit me from the side. I didn't even see who. I hit back. Didn't care who it was either. That's the worst part. You stop seeing people, you just see threats. I turned to find her, and she was gone, just gone. Like that moment outside, like it never happened. I called her name, again and again. But the street swallowed it, like it swallowed everything else that night.
Eventually, the fighting stopped. Not because it was resolved, but because it burned itself out. Official reports downplayed the incident, called it a minor disturbance. No deaths, few arrests, nothing to remember. But memory doesn't follow official reports.
We were put on trains the next morning, set back to camp, like nothing happened, like she never existed. I went back to that street once, later. Everything looked normal, clean, quiet, like the city had decided to forget.
War doesn't always draw a line between enemies and allies. Sometimes it blurs it, until no one remembers which side they were on.
I never found her again. And sometimes, I wonder if that night was the closest thing to war she ever saw, or the moment she realized we were never as far from it as we thought.
If you want to hear more forgotten stories, stories buried between the lines of history, subscribe to Echoes of Valor X, because some wars don't happen on the front lines.